Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Data Doctor. I don't know what else to call this, and that just rolls off the tongue pretty easily. This raid deck is pretty insane with how it can interact with teams in the future. So there's two big benefits here. We get 5 morale off rip once we play all of our exhaust cards, but we get to also manipulate our deck in a way to where we can guarantee our draw combo if we so choose to have one. This will be really good for those kind of go infinite style decks. And today, instead of turning Calliope into an AP battery, we're going to be using her Vulture Ejection with the Epiphany that gives her 40% shield for each card in hand. And we're also going to be using Absolute Protection as the thing to activate that Vulture Ejection. An old school Retain Barrel deck, but with Spore Harvester as well, so that while we cycle our Heavy Weapon Specialist, we have our Spore Harvester sort of act as that like in-between step while we fully have our hand with 6 opening found or charged shots. So the core of our team's game plan is that we're going to have Beryl using Spores and generating cards using Heavy Weapon Specialist, and then eventually using her Opening Found. That is going to be our main damage source. We play our Repents, we play our Snack Times, either eating Spores or preferably the Heavy Weapon Specialist, so that we can start to guarantee our draw to be able to turtle properly with Calliope. And by turtle, I just mean give a bunch of shields, right? And something I forgot to mention during the build phase is that we also have Guilty Pleasure to help accelerate the retain effects for all of the charged shots that we're going to be generating. You'll notice that in some instances of the footage that my PC decides to take a shit on itself. And if you're liking this style of content, feel free to let me know down below, and also subscribe for when I do more stuff like this, right? But I think you can get the gist from here. It's just cycle until we get our hand set up, and then I'll just move forward to when we actually have our perfect hand, right? So one nuance with this boss is Necrosis, right? So I can't play Snack Time every single turn without taking a big chunk of damage, but also I have to rely on draw order a little bit with Ray, unless I have like someone else also being a draw engine to quickly use Snack Times and use it on the correct things to burn. So in this case, we do have a little bit of fluff in our draw pile with having 2 copies of Heavy Weapon Specialist still surviving through all the Snack Times. And now I guess, as any doctor should, there should probably be a diagnosis phase for these style of videos. So quick things, the really obvious one is that the barrel damage is really slow and fairly inconsistent because of just the RNG involved with having heavy weapon specialists. We're really relying on getting charge shots. We could end up getting garbage. There's also Absolute Protection. I think in the future I would actually rebuild this deck to have Overpower instead, because that just gives you more shield outright. So to wrap that all up, there can be improvements done to Beryl's deck and Calliope's deck. The core of the game plan of Retain with Beryl, shielding with Calliope, Ray to get morale, that core idea works. That now we can apply to future team comps. I noticed that there was a comment in the other video that mentioned about how low the damage output is. Well, that's because I don't want to dump resources into characters if the build ends up flopping, right? So with 250 HP remaining, we're cutting it pretty close, but just verifying that, hey, yeah, we will actually be able to clear it this turn. And we'll move on to Spiral Tower Screams, and we'll go to the final boss once again. It's just cheesing with retain effects, so that on the first floor, we stack up all of our retain buffs, and then we kind of just win, or just winning through pure stall. Thank you for watching, and enjoy the rest of the showcase.